with something long overdue. That's right, I'm doing a Draw My Life. Woohoo! Now kick back and enjoy, because this orange's life is pretty juicy. Growing up, my family's orange tree was right next to a passion fruit tree. I was born the very same spring as Passion, and our parents were really great friends. So that meant Passion and I did everything together. We were on the same football teams, we were in the same class at school. Wherever Orange was, there was Passion. Wherever Passion was, there was Orange. Okay, I'd like to pause for a moment to clarify something. I am not in love with Passion, and I never have been, okay? I'm not. Just because we had like an impossible amount of fun together growing up in an orchard together does not mean we love each other, okay? Good, glad we cleared that up. Anyway, so one day when I was still just a little cutie orange, I figured out what I wanted to be when I grow up, a TV star. So I hatched a plan. I'd break the world record for non-stop kazoo playing. Then they'd have to put me on TV. I was already super good at playing the kazoo non-stop, but I knew I'd have to practice if I was gonna get on TV. So that's exactly what I did. I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. Day and night and day. Soon, I was getting so good at kazooing that everyone in the orchard would scream encouragement at me until they were blue in the face. Especially when I practiced kazooing late at night. That's when they'd yell encouragement at the top of their lungs. Probably because they could see how hard I was practicing. I could never hear exactly what words they were screaming at me since the kazoo was so loud, and also because I didn't have any ears. But I knew one thing for sure, their words were definitely heartfelt. But I couldn't help but notice that no one ever screamed encouragement and Passion, and she totally deserves it. She was always getting really good grades at school, she was always scoring punch downs at the football games, and she never had people screaming in her face. I felt kind of bad, because she was really talented and great and nobody ever seemed to scream congratulations at her late at night. So that's when I decided, someday when I made it on TV, I'd invite Passion to be on TV with me. I couldn't wait to tell her my plan, but I never got a chance to, because one day when I was telling super hilarious jokes to everyone else in the tree, I got knocked loose and fell off the branch. Can you believe it? I guess everyone was laughing so hard that the branch shook, and I was the unlucky one who fell off. It was kind of a bummer that I got knocked off the tree and lost my kazoo, but looking back, it was a blessing. It was time for me to branch out. Anyway, I fell to the ground and I started rolling. Well, I couldn't stop. I rolled straight out of the orchard, down a hill, through somebody's bathroom, and off a super sweet jump. While I was midair at the pinnacle of my jump, I looked down at the world below, and I could see the orchard way off in the distance. But I could also see the rest of the world laid out below me. It was so big. There were so many people and places and things. And in that moment, I realized all of those people and places and things needed puns told about them. I was leaving my kazoo and orchard behind, but I was gonna be just fine. Anyway, I was up in the air for quite some time. It was a really big jump, you guys. Met an airplane while I was up there. Had to fight off a couple birds, and I even started to miss Passion a little bit. Not because I'm in love with her, just because I'd never been this far away from her for this long before. You know? Eventually, I came back down to earth and landed in a kitchen you just might recognize. I made a whole bunch of new friends who think I'm super funny and not annoying in any way. And wouldn't you know it? Passion arrived one day in a grocery bag. I was so happy. Not because I'm in love with her, but because I got a TV show and Passion got to be on it with me. Now the whole world knows how great she is, how great my friends are, and how funny I am. And guess what? Chicken butt! Nah, just kidding. With the money I made from the TV show, I was able to buy a new kazoo. Can you believe it? Now, if you have 147 hours to spare, I will finally attempt to break the world record for non-stop kazooing. Hey, what are you doing? You erased my kazoo. Now you're erasing me. Wait, no. Actually kind of tickled. Happy Shocktober, fruit lovers! A while back I did a Draw My Life episode, but today I want to tell you about the spookiest, scariest dream I've ever had. It's pretty weird, but then again, what dream is it? So get ready for a glimpse into the mind inside the rind, cause this is the Annoying Orange's Draw My Nightmare. It was nighttime. Lightning crashed, rain poured. I was standing in the middle of a really tall bridge, and I had to make a terrible choice. See, I wasn't just standing in the middle of a bridge. I was standing in the middle of a booby trap set by the Joker. On one end of the bridge, Passion was tied up and dangling over a pit of knives. There was a candle slowly burning through a rope, and once a rope snapped, she'd be a total goner. Now, way on the other end of the bridge, Pear was tied up and dangling over a vat filled with sharks. as soon as his rope burned all the way through, he'd fall into the shark vat, and all those innocent sharks would probably die from boredom after talking to him for a while. The Joker told me I could only save one, and I had to choose now. Now, okay, I'll admit, I started moving in the direction of passion. I mean, I blinked, okay? I literally moved one muscle, but that doesn't mean I'm in love with her, okay? It doesn't. Anyway, the moment I moved, the Joker started laughing. The holograms of passion and pain both vanished. Yeah, turns out they were both holograms this whole time. Then the Joker pushed a button and blew the bridge right out from under me and said I'd totally fallen for it. And it turns out it was actually a pretty good pun, because without a bridge under me, I started falling, and I fell for a long time. And here's the worst part. I fell past a bunch of people I recognized, and they all made fun of me for being in love with passion, which I'm not, by the way. But I didn't have time to explain it to them because I was falling way too fast. But here's where it gets really weird. A lot of them were in their underwear. And that's when I looked down and realized I was in my underwear, which made no sense because the only time I ever wear underwear is when I'm dreaming. And that's when I realized I was in a nightmare. I started looking forward to hitting the ground because you always wake up right before you hit the ground, you know? So I kept waiting to hit the ground, and I kept waiting, and finally I realized I was traveling through a tube that went all the way through the center of the earth. There was no bottom. And to make matters worse, as I passed through the middle of the Earth's core, I got blasted with radiation from all sides. I started to mutate and grow extra eyeballs on my butt. Well, I thought it was actually kind of cool at first, but I'd soon regret having all those eyeballs when I finally popped out on the other side of the world in China. That's because, like, every scary person ever was there to jump scare me as soon as I came out of the tube. Freddy was there, Slenderman, Bendy, Baldy, my 6th grade English teacher. We're talking scary people. And I had enough eyeballs to get jump scared by all of them at once. So many jump scares at once deserve more than one scream. And fortunately, I had mutated a few extra mouths by this point, so I was able to scream out of all of them. Anyway, me and all my extra eyes and mouths fell back down into the tube and started falling back towards the other side of the world, which I was actually pretty excited about because this time when I passed by all those people telling me I love passion, I had enough mouth to explain the truth. But the scariest part of the nightmare hadn't happened yet. As I was passing back through the center of the earth, I ran smack dab into a herd of dancing hippos. Ooh, these guys were everywhere, and they were plugging up the whole tube. I couldn't get by. They surrounded me. Everywhere I looked, there was a dancing hippo. And that's a lot of places to look, because I had so many eyeballs by this point. But to pass the time, I decided to see if I could touch all my tongues to all my eyeballs. But that was a bad idea, because I just wound up licking a bunch of hippo butts by accident. On the plus side, I did wake up at this point, because my tongue had finally touched the bottom. Talk about the end, am I right? Okay. See you next time. And just remember, I do not have passion, okay? I don't!